Trump boosting his numbers in Iowa, moving from second behind Senator Ted Cruz to the top position. Trump gaining 11 points, giving him 34% over the past 2.5 weeks. Cruz at 23, down from 27. Marco Rubio's at third. Trump and Cruz trading fire on the Sunday talk shows. First, Cruz, watch.
Listen, if you're someone in this country who thinks we need more Republicans in Washington to cut a deal with the Democrats to agree with Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, then you ought to vote for Donald Trump.
There's a real question as to whether or not Ted Cruz is allowed to run for president. And I will tell you, the first thing, if he got the nomination, the first thing that would happen is the Democrats will bring a lawsuit against him. He's got to straighten that problem out because there's a big fat question mark.
So let's start with our chief political correspondent, Carl Cameron, live in Des Moines today. And Carl, good day to you. What's Cruz doing to stop the apparent slide in Iowa? What's up?
Well, he's been fighting with Donald Trump, and it doesn't appear to have worked. Throughout the course of the last year, we've seen candidate after candidate try to take on Trump, try to fight back, and in the end, Trump's attacks on said candidate, in this case Ted Cruz, has caused that candidate, in this case Ted Cruz, to drop a little bit, and Donald Trump actually to grow, and that's again what happened in the Fox poll. But what is very important in this two-person race, as it's being shorthanded with just exactly a week until the Iowa caucuses, is that Cruz is at the bottom half of the margin and Donald Trump is at the upper part of the margin in the polls. And about a third of Iowa caucus goers, Republicans, as about a third of New Hampshire primary voters have said that they're likely to change their minds. So it's Trump on top, Cruz in the middle. And today, Cruz got an endorsement. Endorsements are a questionable thing in presidential politics, particularly when they're in the final week and the fights have been as tough as the Cruz-Trump battle has been. But they've essentially left the rest of the field in the dust. Marco Rubio's the only other candidate in double digits, and he is sort of solidly in third. But again, that's in a margin with a bunch of candidates in single digits. So today, Cruz got an endorsement from Rick Perry, the former governor of Texas. It's important that he's a Texan. Perry was a Tea Party darling and the oops candidate of 2012 that didn't last very long. But yet again, it's Cruz trying to show that he does have some support from pre-existing politicians, that it's not entirely a Tea Party battle, that he does have some fondness from the establishment, because one of the things that Trump has been doing is pounding Cruz as not just unlikable, but inexperienced, and even questioning his honesty. So here's a little bit of Rick Perry saying why he thinks that Cruz should be the Republican nominee.
Probably one of the best listeners I've ever been engaged with on the political front. And he's not just quiet, he's listening, he's processing. He knows what he doesn't know, and I cannot tell you what a virtue that is in this business for the President of the United States, for an individual who wants to lead this country. And I am convinced.
That's an interesting endorsement, particularly for Iowa caucus goers, to say that he knows what he doesn't know, from Rick Perry. And yet that's what you're dealing with a candidate, Ted Cruz, a U.S. Senator, who says he's an outsider and going to run against the establishment in order to compete against Donald Trump, and trailing by 11 points in the Fox poll a week out from the caucuses.
Good deal. All right, good setup there. Carl Cameron, thanks. Analysis.